New research out today shows more than half of all Australians had at least one issue with their telco in the past year, but most of you feel too overwhelmed to do anything about it. Well, the telco industry Ombudsman Cynthia Gebert joins us now to talk through the findings. Good morning to you, Cynthia. So just tell us, go through those numbers. What were you finding when you did this research?
We wanted to understand what sat behind reducing complaint volumes. So we have seen complaints come down, which is a great story for the industry, but we were concerned that we were not looking deeply enough at what was actually going on for people. And we saw that nearly 3/4 of the people surveyed had some sort of difficulty in the last 12 months, be it financial hardship, a relationship breakdown, domestic and family violence, or some other challenge in their life that made it hard for them to think about how do I engage more broadly with the market.
So presumably, do companies exploit the lack of complaints? Because presumably, if it's really difficult to complain and fewer people do, that could be quite good for business in some instances.
It could be. And look, I have to commend the industry. They have done an amazing job of reducing complaint volumes over the last few years. But I think the challenge for the industry is, to your point, not to become complacent, but actually to make sure that in an environment where they're delivering an essential service, and I think we can all agree that phone and internet are an essential service, they're actually making sure that they're putting people before process and making it as easy as possible for people, if they do have concerns, that they feel they can trust that they won't get the runaround or that they'll get it resolved.
Well, what's the message then from this for you if you've got less than 1/4 of people actually going forward with complaints?
Look, I think there's a real call to action for the industry to keep going, to really look to understand their consumers' needs. We're forming a task force with the telco industry and the consumer sector to really bring forward the consumer experience and tackle those accessibility challenges. You know, we're ultimately looking at how do we make it as easy as possible for people to feel trust and confidence that they will get clear information, clear understanding, and that process won't get in the way of them getting their complaint resolved.
And for people watching this morning, is the message effectively complain more, persist with the process, no matter how difficult it is?
I think it's almost feel confident that you can complain and you will get fair treatment, but I think the industry does still need to continue to step up to bring that to reality so people don't feel overwhelmed or think it's going to not be worth their time.
And they can come to you too, right? If you're not happy with the answer you get from your telco, that's why you're here.
Absolutely. So first step is always to raise your concern with your telco, but in the event that you can't get it resolved, we're a free, fair and independent organisation that can work with you to get a fair and reasonable outcome.
Can I ask you about the 3G network? Because it's shutting down next month. Suggestions that, 150,000 people are going to be affected by this. I know there has been a lot of notice. I know that it's been extended, but 150,000 people is still a big deal. Yeah. So what's being done? Are you comfortable with what's being done?
Yeah, well, we're hearing from consumers and that they're a bit confused, to be honest, about what's going on, what does it mean for them, what devices that might not work. So I think there's still plenty of opportunity for the telco industry to make sure there's clear information that actually goes to the core of customer concerns around what the impact is going to be, because it could be very varied. You know, obviously impact on a water meter on a farm is very different to a medical device impact, very different to a customer just not being able to use their phone, particularly in an emergency.
So are you comfortable with where they're at the moment, given it's going to be shut down next month?
I think there's still plenty to do in the next few weeks, Lisa.